Hello, folks. I want to talk about some political arguments, um, talking points, rebuttals, and stances that um, are being made by politicians today that are just freaking hilarious. So, what I did was I got on one of the social medias with all my friends and I debated with them and debated with them. And the more I debated, the more I got good at debating. And so what was funny is when I went back and looked at all their arguments and added it all up, it was hilarious. And so I just had to come up with some funny stuff. So I mean, if you guys enjoy this, great. Post a positive comment. If you think it's retarded, um, great. Go ahead and make a comment. But whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we rebuttal, let's just make sure it's based on just facts, just kindergarten, elementary, middle school facts, and let's not let's not go beyond the foundation and go straight to the political science and use make our debates based on what we want reality to be. But let's in other words, let's not come to a let's not pick our conclusion and then look supporting evidence. Let's look at all the evidence and not refrain from embracing just simple basic facts and then come to the conclusion. Okay. In other words, we shouldn't walk around with little thesis statements in our minds based on what we want reality to be, and then just reach for whatever little tiny things support that. That's delusional. Okay, so matter of fact, let's just give the thesis here. Let's just say this: the difference between false assumptive thinking, or assumptive thinking for that matter, the difference between that and critical thinking is the exact same difference between LSD and truth serum. It's the same thing, okay? So, my whole analysis over the last many months of debating with friends on Facebook, and by the way, I used to be a grassroots conservative, yada yada yada. Still am by heart. Wish we could kind of turn back time and realize where they went wrong. When I say they, I'm not defending conservative politics right now. It doesn't mean I'm not a conservative. I will protest vote simply because I want to defend the middle class, because the middle class has taken the hit, and they're the very people voting in the people that are sending the jobs over away. So I don't want to get too personal or offensive here, but I just want to point out some funny arguments that if you're not too busy making money to come home and watch 20 minutes of suggestive TV that tells you that everything's messed up because of this or that, that's like, because people have their hand out, I'm just going to shoot that down right now with some, I call them 12 delusional arguments that people are making, politicians are making. Okay. No order per se. It's no David Letterman top 10 list. However, the last one is my favorite. I'll just save the last one. So maybe I should reorder them, but I'll just start it out how I wrote it. So, number one. Okay, here's one of the delusional arguments. Basically, if you critically analyze the whole tax cut thing, basically, this party is cutting taxes during good times. They're cutting taxes during bad times. They never raise taxes for any reasons. They always make the overtaxed argument, and they always wrap it up by saying we have a spending problem. Okay, all that is those are arguments are simply based on a pledge that they've made for the last 25 years. Read my lips. I signed a tax pledge, and Ross Perot got in and knocked me out of office. Okay, that's the pledge that you don't break or you get out of office like old man Bush. Okay, so yeah. Okay, number two, believe that people who don't have or make money, this is the delusional arguments, believe that people that don't have money should pay taxes. which is stupid. Okay, and let me frame it here. Let me say this. I hear many arguments of people saying that the bottom 50% don't pay any taxes, and the rich are taking the burden. That's skewed to the 10th power. Okay, basically the bottom 50% in this country, they only own 2% of all wealth. Okay, so if you only have crumbs, then logically on a spreadsheet it's going to look like you ain't paying your share. You don't have anything. You ain't making any money. It's a fact. Okay, just research it. It's not a talking point on delusional. We choose. You thought you decided. News program. So that's the fact, Jack, on wealth in this country. It's a fact. Okay. Number 3. Here's a common argument that I see. Especially on some of the news programs. Basically, see our society is an overtaxed utopia society of freeloaders. Even though 30 years of tax cuts and redistribution of wealth, basically Reaganomics, which I was all for the first 15 years, but I think it got out of hand the next 15 years. Basically, we're at 50-year low taxes. Hello? 50-year low taxes? You can't say we're overtaxed. You can, I guess. It's all relative. So yeah. Basically, when Bush got in, he cut taxes to 50-year record lows. He sent out checks to everybody. I've got 3 of them. Over $600, I think about $2,000, and then he financed 2 wars, put them on a credit card. He knew the economy was going to bust in 5 years on the mortgage. I think he said something to Congress, but he didn't follow up with a phone call, which means, I don't know, I guess CEOs, do you think Mitt Romney would follow up if his company was going to crash? I think he would. I think he wouldn't just tell the board members and then sweep it under the rug, all unless he was leaving office and it would make him look good and his replacement bad. Then, so I guess he's a team player for himself. Number 4, view the downturn in jobs as a result of mass wave entitlement mentality. Just catapulted people on unemployment, welfare, and food stamps. Not basically 12 years of bad policy. Mortgage home value collapse, and 30-year shrinking middle class, which lobby groups have drained redistribution of wealth. They like to use that one. That's like stabbing you in the pencil with the back, and then you do that to somebody and you say your back hurts. Yeah, right. Okay, number 5. Okay, this is based on argument. See nurses, aides, fork truck drivers, receptionists, and customer service type brokers. Basically anybody that makes $10 an hour today. Basically imply they don't contribute enough to society, and they need to either go back to school or get a second job. Well, let me say this. 15 years ago, those same jobs probably paid $10 an hour, and that's when gas was a third of its price. Rent was a little less. Healthcare's doubled in 9 years. Oh, I'm sorry about that. And then I don't even want to get started on that. So anyways, those jobs could support families 20 years ago. Today they can't. So number 6, support anyone who's pro-life regardless of anything else. Anyone. Basically, my opinion on this should not be in national campaigns for president. Shouldn't be there. If you're a Republican and truly proud, pride yourself on giving power back to the states. Fight it on the state level. Keep it out of national politics. It's just a carrot you're waving. Okay, and when people are not busy enough, once they finally get unemployed and they can research it and find out, that they'll realize what you're doing there. Number 7, believe that if we teach our kids to not have an entitlement mentality, jobs will magically appear. That I get that little funny saying there. Simply when I watch certain programs, they'll say it's an epidemic. These kids are just They just think everybody should take care of them. Well, I guess my rebuttal to that is, if you put everybody on assistance, I think their minds will adapt to it. So, my funny spin is, no, you're not going to teach your kids to work hard for them to go out and not have a job, to go in debt to a college to not have a job to go to. It's retarded to the 10th power. Is it an epidemic in mentality? Sure. But it's not their fault. How did they get there? By being on the programs to begin with, by being put on them. It's called adapting to change. Simple. Number 8, believe that if somebody makes $43 million, that it's okay to pay only 14% taxes and pay far less taxes than the guy shining your shoes or serving you lunch. In the name of job creation? Should we just worship them? Soon we'll just send taxes to them. Okay, when 20 years from now, when people say get government out of your lives, they're not going to be talking about your government. They'll be talking about the people that control your jobs. That's who the new government is. Wake up. Okay, here's another delusional one. Basically, people's talking points, arguments, and rebuttals are based on economic figures and statistical data from the year 1980, prior to Reaganomics. It's wrong. You can't do that. At 50-year low taxes, it's stupid. Next one. This one's cracks me up. Call all employers job creators when you want to make yourself look like you've done wonders for the jobs, or when a company owner says, I create jobs. Well, that's good. It's good that somebody's there to help make you rich. But what's funny is when you mention job creator, or when you mention their low wage or lack of health benefits, then they immediately clarify, well, we're not in business to create jobs. We're here to make a profit. So that's true. Both are true. They're job creators, and they're not in business to make a profit. So I'm just simply implying that if don't brag. I mean, that's like bragging about having stinky breath. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't stand up and call yourself a job creator if if you're not creating a job worth bragging about. Brag about your profit. Don't brag about a job that you created that's it's poverty maker. It's not a job creator. It's a poverty maker. They're giving you a life. You're not giving them a good life. It's just fact. For example, if 30,000 jobs leave America from some bank and go overseas immediately, if those 30,000 new employees overseas, if they just hoard every money that the U.S. pays them, it's going to benefit each employee. It's not going to benefit small business. When all that thousands and thousands of millions of dollars pours into that economy, if they just all hoarded it, nobody would benefit but the worker himself. Okay? So the same goes as if the 30,000 jobs leave here, if they leave, okay, that money's not spent on small businesses. So it's the jobs leaving that are hurting small businesses, not 50-year low taxes. Wake up. Okay. This one takes the cake, folks. This one is hilarious. And I know small businesses who sell American products, American made, feel this way. And this is just a skewed view of it. That's all it is. It's just a skewed view of meaning skewed compared to everybody else's view. It's a small business, American-made business owner's view. And here's his talking points, arguments. He says, it's people's fault they buy cheap stuff made overseas. It's hurting the economy. Americans just don't buy American-made anymore. It's what's messing everything up. They just want to buy the cheap stuff. And I when I critically looked at that, I was like, "Are you serious?" Okay, what that implies is that all these people on welfare and unemployment basically just quit their jobs simultaneously, and they pooled their little bit of cash, and they lobbied Congress to implement NAFTA and overseas job creation from American companies. They lobbied that simply for the one fact of stretching their unemployment check at Walmart for products made overseas. That don't make sense, folks. That takes the cake. That takes the cake. To imply that it's poor people's fault that they don't have a job, but at least they can stretch their check at Walmart. And so that's why I will probably support a presidential candidate who is going to feed the sucking sound that's coming from the starving stomachs, because we're up Poop Creek without a sandwich. Ross Perot said it 20 years ago. He said, well, first of all, Clinton ran on the economy, stupid. And then Bush said, read my lips, I'm out of a job because I broke a pledge. And then Ross Perot said the sucking sound was going to be the jobs leaving American by the groves for the next many whatever. And then it would take many decades to level out to where we can go back, hopefully in the next 10 or 20 years, go back to the American pride of making American products. The whole globalization will be more leveled out, and we won't be going through the growing pains as we are now. It's here. So the whole point of me researching, the whole point of me sharing this garbage with you, that whoever may feel that whatever, simply not to change your mind, but just to plant seeds of reality in your mind, to realize change's coming. A lot of what I say, or I may not necessarily support, just may simply be my prediction of what's to come. So that's my story for now. I'm sticking to it, subject to change at any time. And if you found this repulsive, please reply, comment. If you find it entertaining, hopefully we can all laugh. And if you find it insightful, and I hope y'all find it comical, because the more I research facts and not suggestive dogmatic TV by opinionated people who just want to sell books or get ratings from pretty girls on their show, that's fine. Spend some time, and you have a wonderful internet there at your fingertips. It's the same internet that college kids and governments and corporations and everybody use to study facts. So you have the same, I don't want to call it a weapon, but it's knowledge is power. So it's there for you. Get off the couch. Stop watching, suggestive. Don't get your information from suggestive TV that has a personal agenda. You be like a college student and study the facts, and then debate on the facts, and never leave the facts. That's my story. Good night. Happy 4th of July. Be safe.